Yaskawa is a very old Japanese company, founded in 1915 in Japan. It's grown to be one of the largest manufacturers of industrial robots in the world. Started manufacturing robots in 1973 and since then has installed over 200,000 robots throughout the world.
Tell us how it made its way from a Japanese organisation into the UK.
It follows a lot of the Japanese typical transplant business, what we call transplants, which is following industrial manufacturers of automotives such as Nissan and Toyota, and their philosophies of keeping local production support available to their companies. So we travel to the UK on their behalf.
Talk to us about the sorts of savings that you can achieve for your clients through your processes.
Very interesting question. It does vary a hell of a lot between applications and customers. For example, some customers will achieve a saving within 6 months of purchase of such industrial equipment as robots, and other companies can take up to 2 years on payback. It depends on the nature of the application that the robot's going to be used.
Can you give us a few examples of companies that have used the product?
Yeah, there are. The thing with robots, everybody sees them as industrial automation that follows and manufactures cars. However, over the last 15 years, that has varied tremendously, and that such things as baking bread, making industrial gates, picking up slabs, all sorts of weird and wonderful applications, anywhere really where there's repetitive action and high volume. That's where robots can make a difference to companies in the UK.
So tell us how Yaskawa is helping to revive the UK manufacturing industry.
What it does to companies who invest in this type of technology is help reduce their manufacturing and production costs, and therefore improve their profitability.
How would you say that the UK fares in comparison with other EU countries in terms of uptake in this kind of technology?
That's a really interesting question. Unfortunately, it's very low. By comparison to Germany, France, Italy and Spain, we have the lowest uptakes of this kind of technology. And the reason behind that, we believe, is because that people often don't see the benefits of investing in this type of technology, or they're frightened by their initial costs or the perception of these costs.
And finally, if you were in charge of the government or the EU, are there any kind of policy changes or changes in law that you'd put in place on behalf of your clients?
Well, certainly for the SMEs, small medium enterprises in this country, we'd like to see some ministry capable of interfacing to our industry and these enterprises, maybe as an independent authority that would give advice, impartial advice, on where this technology could be used. On top of that, I think would also be very good action is if we could get the government and the local businesses and the schools to have a little bit more to do with each other, so that when it comes to engineering or production or manufacturing, then we have a greater understanding from the school end to the manufacturing end to the government end, so we could join the three up. Would make it a lot more interesting for children to actually come into this kind of industry as opposed to go to university and do non-manufacturing or non-production or non-industrial courses.